Yeah, I'm having a conversation today with Carolyn Spargur, who's in Shaklee, lifetime master coordinator and
Senior Master
senior
Coordinator.
master coordinator. Thank you for reminding me. I knew that if I didn't get it right. So this is a real opportunity for me to be able to talk to Carolyn and to put together this little video for her to be able to share some of her Shaklee stories. I've known Carolyn for over 20 years. I knew that she was in Shaklee, but it wasn't until I went to the first national conference a few years back that I really learned how important she was in Shaklee. And she's basically a Shaklee legend. And everyone from the very top of the company, Roger Barnett, know her, know Carolyn, and have a great deal of respect for her. So I really like the opportunity to be able to sit down and hear some of your Shaklee stories. Good morning.
Good morning, Tom. How are you today?
I'm doing great.
That's the Shaklee way.
It sure is. It sure is. Yeah, I just had a few questions I kind of wanted to go through. And, of course, the first one is always, how did you get started in Shaklee?
Would you repeat that, please?
Sure.
You faded out just a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, hopefully it's coming in a little bit better now. Yeah, my first question, and probably the one you get a lot, is how did you get started in Shaklee?
Wow, how did I get started in Shaklee? Well, that's been a few years ago. I was a single mom raising 4 kids by myself, working 2 jobs when one of them needed to go see a doctor. And by the way, we went to see doctors as often as we did to school. Antibiotics, we went the whole thing. And then one day, I worked for a CPA attorney. And one day, one of our clients, my hero, she was a hospital administrator, walked around with a briefcase, and I think in those days I was making $300 a month part-time, a little more full-time, and she was making close to $1,000. So I was real excited about her and knowing her. She was really sharp in my mind. She came in the office one day and told me that she was quitting her job to sell some product. And I thought she was joking. Then she said, I have found the most wonderful product. It's a business that I can get into myself, and you should get into it. Well, in those days, Tom, I was doing everything I could to get out of things. I didn't want to get into anything. But she gave me a quart of Basic H, and I put it in the back of my car, and it rolled around in the back of my car. I can't tell you how many months. It had a lot of miles on it. When I moved into a dirty house, didn't bring any cleaners with me, so I remembered she said Basic H does everything. I got it out. I did read enough to dilute it. That's why I know the good Lord meant me for this business, because I only read when everything else fails. And I started cleaning that dirty place with it, and my hands would break out from anything. And they didn't break out. They looked better than ever, and I got excited. In fact, when the kids all came, and I got them in the bathtub, all of them at one time, I just put a little bit of a dab of Basic H in the water, and what I got the most excited about was Basic H leaves no bathtub ring. So that got me excited. Funny thing, huh? So I started telling my friends about it, found out where I could pick up more. I did sponsor with a promise I had to do nothing, go to nothing, buy nothing, and all of that at that time was of interest to me. But the more I used Basic H, the more I picked up, finally sponsored, and became a Shaklee distributor.
Wow, that's a great story there. Everyone has to start somewhere, and for you, it was that one bottle of Basic H. So one of the things that I think most people are always interested in hearing about is, how did you meet Dr. Shaklee?
How did I become a Shaklee sales leader? Well, I really didn't even understand the marketing program. I did go to a meeting because I had a girlfriend who was a nurse in a hospital in the children's ward, the babies. And she was cleaning all the beds, everything with basic H. She loved it as I loved it. And the doctor came in one day and picked up the bottle and said, "What is this? What's in here?" So she called to ask me, and I didn't know what was in there. So I called my upline, which was Pat and Bob Ewing, and asked them what was in Basic H. And they said, "Well, we're having a little get-together tonight. Why don't you come and maybe you can find out?" Well, I went to that get-together that night, and really never knew what was in Basic H even after that until Dr. Shaklee told me it's a perfect balance of vegetable oils, nitrogen, and protein, all good stuff. But from that meeting, I went home with one supplement. Actually, it was Liquid, because my daughter was born with a slight problem, and when I gave her Liquid, it totally changed. So that's how I started, and with that excitement, the products brought me. I fell in love with the products. I started telling more people and more people and more people, and one day, and actually I believe it was Bob Ewing who first called me to tell me that I'd qualified as a sales leader, and I said, "What's a sales leader?" The same thing happened a few months later when Shaklee called me and said, "You've qualified for a car," and I said, "What kind of car?" So it was not my thing to build a business. It was not. And when I was a little girl and it was cookie sale time, and never liked asking anyone for $1. I always got sick. So sales was not my thing. But when I believe in something and I believe in people, then that becomes a mission to me, whatever it is, whether it's a little show I saw or a product I fell in love with. And then the volume grew, and then I did find out the marketing program, understood it, read it for really good for the first time. It was very simple, actually. And then I sponsored friends who also wanted to do what I was doing.
Got it. So yeah, started like everyone else did at the very beginning, figuring out the program. Mm-hmm. And then was that when you started? And you, if I understand right, you got the trip to go and to Shaklee headquarters and meet Dr. Shaklee?
Well, at that time, I was one of the youngest sales leaders, and I went to a new supervisors convention, and I got to meet Forrest Shaklee. I actually heard Doctor speak several times before I got the nerve to try to tell him thank you. And one time, I was in San Francisco at a meeting. He spoke, and he was down in the hall talking to people, so I waited in line. And when it came my turn, I wanted to thank him for the new car. I'd never had a new car in my life. I wanted to thank him for the opportunity that I could stay home with my kids and build my own business. And I just wanted to thank him for everything. When I got to him, all I could do was cry. And I'll never forget, he just patted me on the head, said some kind words to me, and I went on through the line. I couldn't talk. So I finally was called to go to home office to help on some committees, and I was always full of bright ideas. And I got to know him personally, and we sort of bonded special, and he would slip me out of the meeting, and we'd go to lunch, and we'd talk about things, and on a personal basis, he was always concerned with my family and my kids and everybody. He was a wonderful, wonderful man. I mean, you just felt like he was your best friend, and he really was. He kind of took me under his wing. But it was Forrest Shaklee Jr., his son. He had two sons, Lee Shaklee and Forrest Jr. And I was speaking with Forrest Jr. when I was up there one time. He said, "Carolyn, if you will make 2 contacts a day in the name of Shaklee, and most important, follow up. That means don't hand somebody a card and run. Don't knock on their door and run, should that be your bag. Don't think you can just mention your name. This is a follow-up game. You've got to get back to them. So if you talk to 2 people a day, you follow up in the name of Shaklee, you can become whatever you're willing to work for. And I took that right to heart. I mean, I believe that. So from that day forward, a day did not go by that I didn't make 2 contacts. Every day I had to make 2 contacts, with the exception of Sunday. And when I went to bed at night, if I hadn't done that, I couldn't sleep. So it became a way of life for me. And at that time, my bonus check in the beginning was $4.50. And because I made those 2 contacts a day and followed up all that I could, I have seen a $600,000 income year. So I can tell you that it works. It truly works.
No, that's good to hear. I remember there at the Shaklee convention there, the Shaklee Live in Long Beach here, just a short time back, and one of the things that they're promoting, that Shaklee promotes, is what they call the Shaklee effect, and that's taking small actions every single day is going to lead you to bigger things, and that's really great to hear that that's exactly what worked for you. So,
you know, Dr. Shaklee said the product won't get up and walk across the street, but if you'll get up and walk it across the street, they'll come back for more. And that's exactly how it works.
That's great to hear. Yeah. So for everyone that is out there and thinks that they don't need to talk to those 2 people today, or I think your even more important point is the follow-up, to make sure that once you make that presentation, once you make that contact, that you don't hesitate to go and follow up and offer it again. So,
something that I used to do when I would talk to somebody, like my favorite spot in the grocery store when I had made that contact that day was to go down the cleaners line. And even to this day, if I go down there, my eyes start burning and you smell the chemical, and it's offensive. But that would be a good aisle for me to be shopping around in until someone came along, usually a mother, maybe sometimes with a kid, and I'd say, wow, how can you stand to even go down this aisle? My eyes are burning. She'd say, yeah, me too. So I'd strike up a conversation, tell her I'd found a product that really worked, that was environmentally friendly, excuse me, and that I had 4 kids at home myself. And I would end up asking her if she would like information. And she said, yes, she would. And I said, I'll give you my card. And I'd look around in my purse. Oh, well, what kind of a salesman am I? I don't even have a card with me. I can't find my cards. Do you mind giving me your information? And when she would give me her information, and I'd go to put it in my purse, I'd, oh, here's my cards, and I'd hand her a card. Because her information was far more important to me than I was to her right then. So that was something I remember I used that helped a lot.
Oh, that's a great technique there. Exactly, because you get their information and they also get your information. They feel good about it and you feel good about it. So that is great. So back in the day, I understand you also did a lot of home parties. Are there any good home party stories?
That was how we grew back then. We didn't use computers. We didn't have websites, and didn't have the information even that we have today in Shaklee. We had one piece of illegal blue sheet literature on basic age that we used to leave our meetings and go out in the parking lot and get in the back of the car and look, see if anybody was watching us, and hand out the illegal literature on basic age that just said the real truth about all the things that it did, because Shaklee hadn't tested it for all of that. So that was really the only literature we had, and that was made by the field at the time. But today, wow, it's a whole different story. I mean, you can build a business with your computer. That's just amazing to me. And we have an awful lot of people who go on the website who will take the university Shaklee offers online, and you know, it's a whole new world, and it's much easier today than it was then.
Yeah, yeah, and that's one of the things that I've also learned with Shaklee is that they're getting better and better all the time on their internet operation. I mean, just the website where people can actually purchase the product. It looks better all the time. They're always improving it, improving the look and the feel and the tools that they're handing out. And yeah, it really makes a difference to the people who are out there talking to the customers.
You know the history of Shaklee, Tom. You're a very good Shaklee distributor, and Dr. Shaklee laid the groundwork. He had the answers. He understood nature like nobody else. Anything in the beginning that was discovered in the natural field, he was behind it one way or another. So with that foundation and that background and that philosophy and products that he gave us that were natural and no chemical used, no fillers, no binders, all of the theory and the way he did it through the cold process and so forth, got us where we were 10 years ago. And then Roger Barnett, an entrepreneur deluxe, came along, and he had already succeeded in life. I don't know how many multi-billionaires. Actually retired. At 39, he found and bought Shaklee, even though it wasn't for sale. But when you meet our leader, Roger Barnett, it doesn't matter what he says. He just got a way that you listen, and you feel that he really is genuine. And when he talks about Shaklee, he sounds like everybody else. He loves Shaklee products. Well, he spent a lot of money in research. We already had. But he invested a lot more, and our science and research department has come up with products that are absolutely unbelievable. Only one of a kind, only one in the world, all patent pending. So, you know, to me, that's a lot of responsibility, and it's like we got to work harder and share the word, and 2 a day, maybe bump it up to 3 a day, who knows. But anyway, at least 2 a day to tell about these products. Nutriferon, no one in the world has that. He bought the world rights to it. Vivix, every DNA level of your body gets affected for the best. I mean, nobody else has that tonic. And then you throw in Vitalizer in the little strips. Each product in the little strip, each tablet goes to the part of the body where it's needed before it digests and goes to work. Patent pending. Nobody in the world has that. And then just lately, might be my favorite product ever, and they've all been at one time or another, but MindWorks, for me personally, has given me a larger world. It's let me know that I was slowing down, didn't know I was. I'm back on top of my game again. I'm talking constantly. I just feel like a new person with it. It's hard to explain. It's truly hard to explain. And I sold it to an older lady who 1 week later came in with her sister, and her sister said to me, I don't know why you sold her, but I want to buy her 2 more bottles. So, I mean, it's kind of like a new world. It's kind of like a breath of fresh air. It works because the product causes circulation of blood in the body that can go to the brain in a better way, more of it, and the oxygen that comes from it, I think, just opens up cells. And we know that if you use it 2 years, it will increase the shrinkage 30%, increase the bad shrinkage. At age 20, your brain starts shrinking, and it can improve it 30% in 2 years used, and 300% an hour after you take it. You get the focus and the memory. And all I say to people, what if I told you Shaklee has made a discovery tablet you can take that will increase your memory 300%? That's all you have to say. Before you're through, they'll say to you, oh, wow, do I need a case of that? Or, oh, boy, could I use that? And I was just laughing and agreeing. And then I learned that I need to then say the minute and 90% of them will say, boy, my memory, I say, I can't get you a case because it's in demand right now too much, but I can get you a bottle. And I'm just having so much fun with that new product, but it's just what we have to work with today. Oh, wow. I don't know why you don't have 150 customers new every month, because it's products everybody needs. They use them up, they replace them, and down the road you go to talk to 2 more people.
No, that's really good to hear. I know just from my personal experience with MindWorks, it does work. I mean, and just like you're describing, it's not necessarily something that it's like, all of a sudden things are completely different. It's over time. What I find is that just the focus, the ability to focus is really improved. And I just don't know anyone that isn't interested in that kind of product. The other thing that I've noticed with Shaklee is, just the breadth, just the number of different products out there, because you've been talking a lot about the nutrition side of it, but and the cleaner side of it, but there's also the entire weight loss side of it. So I mean, with Shaklee 180 and what that can do for people, and then the whole healthy beauty side of it, which is something I don't have as much experience with, but I know that that's also some great products out there.
It doesn't matter which product you use, it's going to work. And it's all guaranteed. People will say, well, I want a sample. We have very few samples, because why do you need a sample if all you got to do is bring it back? I mean, unconditionally guaranteed. So, the weight program is one that becomes livable. Most of them aren't. You go up or down, and it's all a natural product. So when you realize that Shaklee's not going to make one product that will harm a hair on your head, and you have the faith, you don't even question that. You just say, how much do I need and when can I get it? But truly, the products sell themselves after you get them out for use, and that's the basis of it. Of course, the opportunity, where in the world could someone for a small investment start a business that can take them to a 6-digit income within a year if they're willing to work at it? Or I tell my friends, well, why don't you just tell your friends or some of your relatives and get your own paid for? There's no amount you have to do in Shaklee. It's what you want to do. And that's why we have so many good-hearted people in Shaklee, because when you fall in love with something, you want to share it.
No, that's a great way to describe it there. It's the community, it's the other people that are involved in the company that really make it a family, make it different than just a regular job that people have out there. I think I know the answer to this, but what would you tell someone that was just starting out in Shaklee?
Wow, well, Shaklee your home, and that's first. Because if you don't use it, you don't know what you're missing, and you don't know what to tell people. The best training you'll ever get is just as you run out of something in your own home, replace it with the Shaklee product. And you'll find out how it works, unusual things Basic H will do for you, how much better you feel, so on and so forth. So Shaklee your home. And I tell people, if Shaklee doesn't make it, I don't need it. So I have very few products in my home that Shaklee hasn't made. So I think the all-around life can survive with just Shaklee products in all areas. And we have shampoo, it goes on, and our green cleaners are so wonderful. And I love to talk to people with small children, because they mop their floor with this horrible chemical. The baby runs around crawling on it and picking up toys and in his mouth and so forth. And when you clean your home with Basic H or one of our cleaning products, you find that you don't have to worry about that, because it's totally safe for the kids. And products under the sink, chemical products, are very harmful. A lot of children die from that. and you don't have that worry when you use Shaklee cleaning products. The diet is awesome, but also remember that protein drink on our diet is good for everyone. If you're thin or whatever, I have it every morning, and I can't start my day off without it. And I find it controls my choices. If I've had my protein in the morning, I can make better choices. I don't get as hungry. I have pretty good weight. I maintain pretty good. But if I don't have that protein drink, occasionally on a weekend we travel and I miss a day or two, I'm wanting to eat everything again. So it's good for everybody as a general drink, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or noon. So if you say, I don't want to go on a diet or I don't need to go on a diet, you do need to have your protein drink every day. And we have 2 or 3 choices of which protein, but they all work.
No, that's really important, because people do a lot of times think that it's just weight loss, but there's more to nutrition than that. One of the things I did want to ask you about is, I know, with most programs like Shaklee, but Shaklee seems to do better than most, there's always all kinds of other rewards. There's the car bonus out there, but then there's also the trips. Are there any great stories from any of the Shaklee trips that you can recall and want to talk about?
Well, I wish this camera could scan the tops of my shelves in my service and training center. They gave us a plate for a lot of years for every country we went to, and I have them on display, and I don't know, there's probably 40 up there, and I don't have them all up there. And in the beginning, when my children were small, they got to go to those countries, went to the countries with us. So there's so many benefits. In cars, I haven't bought I have never bought a new car in my life. When I started in Shaklee, I had a used car, and every day the AAA guys had to come by the office and get me started. Batteries were always dead. But by the way, I sponsored the AAA guy, so it was all okay. So I really never have bought a new car. And I have driven 40 years, don't want to tell any year's age, but a new car at least every 3 years, and through part of those years, every 2 years, any choice of any car that I want. Today I drive a Lexus. My husband drives a Lexus because we choose that car, and Shaklee has enabled us to drive it. So that, I mean, trips, cars, it goes on and on. There's no limit to what Shaklee can do for your dream.
One of my favorite stories, though, was about one car. I think you got a red convertible once.
Oh, yes, that was the first convertible in the fleet of Shaklee cars. I was 3 first levels away. I think you had to have 17 first levels back then. But I was 3 away from master, but I was due, a car was coming up. And so I called Shaklee fleet and I said, I would like to order a red Cadillac convertible. And the gentleman said, you know, Carolyn, we don't have any convertibles in our fleet. And I said, well, you should have. And he said, sorry, not available. So, okay. So about an hour, less than an hour, the phone rang again, and he says, Carolyn, yes, I have a deal for you. If you become master by the time you're due this car, I'll get you that red Cadillac convertible. So I did, and they did. Our people had our master celebration at Balboa Bay Club, Newport Beach, California, beautiful club. And at poolside, Shaklee had a red Cadillac convertible delivered. Had pictures of the kids and Don and I in it, and we got the first red Cadillac convertible.
Oh, that's a great story. That's a great story. Yeah, I remember seeing those pictures of that car. Well, say, Carolyn, I don't want to take your whole day here on this, so but I do appreciate your time in talking about Shaklee and your stories. And just, are there things you want to say to kind of wrap up?
Well, you know, I just would like to talk to every woman, every mother raising her kids alone, every father, every couple, everyone in the world, to say that if you have a dream and you have a heart that can fall in love with a product and a company like Shaklee, there's no limit to where you can go. And it's very easy. You don't have to have a college education. Good if you do. You don't have to be a certain age. You can start young, older, whatever. And you can become whatever you're willing to bill for. But you know what? If you wanted to be in business for yourself and you say, now what product should I buy? Where should I set up? I got to talk to a lawyer. I got to contact a freight company. I've got to find somewhere to display my product. All these things that you would have to do if you just wanted to start your own business. That's all done for you here. All you have to do is learn about your products. All you have to do is know your marketing program. That's not hard to do, and then share it, because Shaklee provides all the rest for you, all the rest. The research, they're putting over $2 million more in research just in the short future. They put millions before, and when there's something needed, they'll have it, and you and I can share it. And I just urge you, don't let anybody take away your dreams. People want to pull you down sometimes, keep you on their level. You have your dream, you reach up and you work for it. Dr. Shaklee said, the difference in a dream and a dreamer, a person with a dream works for it. A dreamer keeps dreaming on. So I want you to be a true dream.
No,
I want to talk to you anytime you want to talk to me. I love sharing Shaklee, and you have a great day. And by the way, you're looking pretty good. How much weight did you lose on Shaklee 180?
Well, thanks for asking. About 40 pounds so far, but I am still working on it, because one of the things that I find with the Shaklee program is also they teach you how to lose weight, but then there's also a program to keep it off, so you're not on this up and down, bouncing back and forth. Yeah, Carolyn. I mean, I hope we can have more conversations like this. I mean, this webinar format works really well. It's not not perfect video out here, but it really gives people the opportunity to hear some of your stories out there. If people are watching this, if they're interested in learning more about Shaklee, definitely there's going to be a link around this video there on the web page where you are seeing this. Click on that link, get in touch with me. I'd really like to hear from you. I can tell you my Shaklee stories, and I work directly with Carolyn, and she is a great resource to help us all out to build our businesses. So,
on that note, Tom, a thought came to mind. When I built my business, and I had a contact I'm from Oklahoma. I had a lot of contacts in Oklahoma, Texas, that area. Have a lot of we have sales leaders in every state in the United States of America today. But I had to get on a plane, and I had to use my credit card to get a ticket in the beginning, and I had to go see the people and talk to the people. Today, I can sit here right at my desk in front of the screen and just be able to talk to everybody everywhere without leaving my desk. What an opportunity you have. Wow. I love this webinar thing. And I would like to leave you with a saying that I gave to my first sales leaders many years ago that still rings true today. It's kind of my trademark. And it goes like this: no worry or fear allowed on these grounds. Within these walls dwell love, hope, faith, peace of mind, and courage for success. For here in your Shaklee world, you're loved for what you are and all that you can become. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Thank you, Carolyn. We'll be talking to you soon.